Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a wild ride through the chaotic, iconic, and often turbulent journey of Guns N' Roses, one of the most controversial and influential rock bands of the late 20th century. This isn't a complete history, but it's enough to show you how a band of misfits took over the world and almost tore themselves apart in the process. Guns N' Roses officially formed in Los Angeles in 1985 when members of two local bands, LA Guns and Hollywood Rose, came together. The classic lineup featured Axl Rose on vocals, Slash on lead guitar, Duff McKagan on bass, Izzy Stradlin on rhythm guitar, and Steven Adler on drums. Right from the jump, their raw, dirty, and dangerous image separated them from the polished glam rock scene dominating the Sunset Strip at the time. In 1987, they dropped their debut album Appetite for Destruction, and it exploded. Despite initially slow sales, the single Sweet Child of Mine took off, and soon the album was dominating charts worldwide. With songs like Welcome to the Jungle and Paradise City, Appetite became one of the best-selling debut albums of all time, going on to sell over 30 million copies globally. It was gritty, sleazy, and full of attitude, exactly what rock needed in the late 80s. But fame came at a cost. The band was known for excessive partying, drug use, and onstage meltdowns, many of which involved Axl Rose storming off mid-performance. Steven Adler's heroin addiction became so severe that he was fired in 1990 and replaced by Matt Sorum from The Cult. Keyboardist Dizzy Reed also joined around this time, expanding their sound beyond pure hard rock. In 1991, Guns N' Roses released Use Your Illusion I and Use Your Illusion 2, two full-length albums dropped on the same day. The albums showcased a more ambitious and theatrical side to the band, blending hard rock with piano ballads, orchestral arrangements, and even elements of blues and punk. Tracks like November Rain, Don't Cry, and Civil War became iconic, and the band embarked on a massive, notoriously chaotic world tour that lasted over 2 years. But internal tensions were boiling. Founding guitarist Izzy Stradlin left the band during the Illusion tour, citing frustration with Axl's behavior and the band's lack of stability. Gilby Clarke was brought in as a replacement, but the magic of the original lineup was beginning to fade. Axl's increasingly dominant control over the band and creative direction didn't sit well with Slash and Duff, and the cracks started to show. By the mid-90s, the band had all but imploded. Slash officially left in 1996, followed by Duff in 97. Axl held on to the Guns N' Roses name and essentially rebuilt the group with new members. But fans and critics alike viewed it as a completely different band. For nearly a decade, Guns N' Roses became more of a rumor than a reality, with Axl retreating from the public eye and delaying his long-promised new album. That long-awaited record, Chinese Democracy, finally dropped in 2008 after more than 14 years in production and tens of millions of dollars spent. While it featured strong production and a few standout tracks, the album was divisive and lacked the raw chemistry that made the original band so legendary. Most fans saw it as Axl's solo project under the GNR name. Then came a plot twist no one expected. In 2016, Slash and Duff rejoined the band for the Not in This Lifetime tour, marking the first time they shared a stage with Axl in over 2 decades. The reunion was a massive commercial success, grossing nearly $500 million and reigniting interest in the band. Although Steven Adler and Izzy Stradlin weren't part of the full-time lineup, their return showed that even after all the drama, the core of GNR could still deliver. Since then, the band has stayed relatively active, playing massive stadium shows and teasing new material. In 2021, they dropped 2 new songs, Absurd and Hard School, reworked from older recordings. While not chart toppers, they proved the band still had creative fuel in the tank. Fans continue to speculate about a full-length album featuring the semi-reunited lineup, but nothing official has been confirmed. Guns N' Roses was never about being clean or predictable. They were dangerous, wild, and on the verge of collapse from day one. But it's that edge, the sense that anything could go off the rails at any second, that made them so compelling. Whether it was Axl's operatic vocals, Slash's bluesy solos, or the sheer swagger of their live shows, GNR captured lightning in a bottle in a way few bands ever have. Their story is messy, dramatic, and full of contradictions, a true rock and roll roller coaster. And even though their classic lineup spent more years apart than together, the mark they left on music is undeniable. They weren't just another band from the 80s, they were a cultural force, a sonic rebellion wrapped in leather and attitude. And while this history is far from complete, it's enough to understand why Guns N' Roses remain a vital part of rock's legacy. From Sunset Strip bars to global stadiums, they embodied the chaos and glory of rock in its rawest form. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and ring that bell. I will be uploading weekly. With that, stay zooted and keep it kosher.